Humanitarian corridors opened this week. Moscow also says 69 militants surrendered. The opposition says the Syrian government is using the corridors to strategically empty the city. Belgium's federal prosecutor is charging one man suspected of planning a terror attack. His brother has been released without charges. The two were arrested after authorities searched houses in two cities in Belgium. Authorities say the arrests do not appear to be related to the March attacks that killed 32 people. Tunisia's prime minister has overwhelmingly lost a vote of no confidence. 118 members of parliament voted to unseat Habib Essayed. Only 3 voted in his favor. 27 lawmakers boycotted the vote. Mr. Essayed has been Tunisia's prime minister for less than 2 years, but has faced growing economic and security problems. That's CNN News Now. State of the Race is coming next.
It's midnight or morning, Trump or Clinton. The conventions are a wrap. Now the trail heats up as the final phase of the election kicks off. This is the state of the race right now.
I accept your nomination. When there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit.
The Cleveland convention was dark.
Donald Trump, have you even read the United States Constitution?
I alone can fix it.
I will gladly lend you my copy.
Don't believe anyone who says, I alone can fix it.
She said it was kind of midnight in America, and her speech was morning in America.
She makes me proud every single day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kate Baldwin. We are back live in New York. Welcome to this inside look at America's election. This is State of the Race. And that is a wrap. Pack it up. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here, friends. The 2016 presidential conventions are over. 2 candidates have been crowned. Now the race can really begin. Yep, just getting started. Did that last bit make you laugh or cry? I'm not actually sure how I feel about it. But before we hit the road, the final night of the Democratic convention was Hillary Clinton's night. A week's worth of A-list Democrats had teed her up, and she wasted no time at all going after Donald Trump.
Don't believe anyone who says, I alone can fix it. A man you can bait with a tweet is not a man we can trust with nuclear weapons.
Clinton, who is often criticized for getting too far into the policy weeds, tried to climb her way out, but couldn't help dipping her toe back in.
So it's true. I sweat the details of policy, whether we're talking about the exact level of lead in the drinking water in Flint, Michigan, the number of mental health facilities in Iowa, or the cost of your prescription drugs. Because it's not just a detail if it's your kid, if it's your family. It's a big deal. And it should be a big deal to your president, too.
And one overarching goal of both conventions was to humanize the candidates. And both times the job fell to their daughters. Last night was Chelsea Clinton's turn.
She'll drop everything for a few minutes of blowing kisses and reading Chugga Chugga Choo Choo with her granddaughter.
Hillary Clinton tweeted out this image from backstage as she watched Chelsea speak with the caption, "So proud." So what was the message of the night, you ask? Essentially the opposite of whatever Donald Trump said. Where Trump's message is "Make America Great," Clinton's message was "America's already great," even borrowing a line from the Republican Party's favorite president, Ronald Reagan.
He's taken the Republican Party a long way, from morning in America to midnight in America.
Morning versus midnight. Clinton's outlook for the country versus Trump's, which she tried very hard to label as doom, gloom, and fear. Trump's campaign released a statement calling her speech an insulting collection of cliches and recycled rhetoric. At least Trump didn't say he wanted to punch her out. He sure seemed to be warning that at another speaker that he seemed to believe was cruising for a bruising. Listen.
I wanted to hit a couple of those speakers so hard, but I was going to hit one guy in particular, a very little guy. I was going to hit this guy so hard his head would spin, he wouldn't know what the hell happened.
So I don't really know who he was talking about, but a lot of people sure think that Donald Trump was talking about the vertically challenged former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg there. Not going to lie, I would pay to see those billionaires fight it out. So there you have it. Two candidates, two very different themes, two very different visions for the country. So where does that leave us? Time for a bus tour. Both Trump and his running mate Mike Pence, as well as Clinton and Tim Kaine, have fired up the campaign buses and set their targets on key battleground states. Clinton and Kaine are hitting up Pennsylvania and Ohio first. Quick reminder, after all this, we've still got 100+ more days of this fun. Phew! All right, let's get straight to the campaign trail. Senior Washington correspondent Jeff Zeleny is in Philadelphia following the Clinton campaign. So, Jeff, about Clinton's big moment, what are you hearing from the Clinton campaign now?
Well, Kate, the Clinton campaign believes that their Democratic convention went off well. They believe that they presented her well, but more importantly, began to draw those contrasts with Donald Trump. Of course, we will see if she gets a post-convention bounce out of it like Donald Trump did. But there is no doubt that they have framed more of an argument here that Donald Trump, in their view, would be an unacceptable choice for president. You heard Republicans on stage saying it, independents on stage doing it. The question is this election also going to turn on Hillary Clinton? Her negatives are some of the highest we've ever seen for a nominee running for president. So the hunger for change in this electorate, which happens every 8 years in America, or usually every 4 years as well, every presidential election, it is so much real and different this time because she's essentially running for a third Obama term. And that does not sit well with a lot of people here. So that's why they are doing a bus tour across Pennsylvania, across Ohio. At this point of a campaign, it becomes clear it's not a national election. We see that the polls nationally are very close, but this is a state by state by state election. They're focusing on the economy here in Pennsylvania, about jobs, about who would create more jobs, and going hard after Donald Trump's own jobs, a record of outsourcing jobs and creating things elsewhere here. So the real question now after all this is Hillary Clinton going to be looked at as a candidate of change, and is Donald Trump acceptable? Those are two questions here that will be answered in 101 days. To be exact, Kate.
Exactly right. Who is keeping count? Jeff, when you talk about, change versus a third Obama term, you look on that stage in the past week in Philadelphia at the convention, and you saw A-list, big-name, top Democrats, but it also, if you're looking at it from someone who once changed, looked a whole lot like the establishment.
The establishment and so much nostalgia. I mean, this was essentially a Clinton reunion happening here at this Democratic convention. So that indeed is the Clinton challenge. Yes, they are presenting her as a change candidate in the fact that she would be a history-making candidate. She would be the first woman president, of course, of the United States. But it is definitely their challenge here to create herself as someone fresh. That's why we saw so many new introductions of her, trying to show her in a different light or so. But the reality here is this election is going to hinge again on those two things. Is Donald Trump acceptable? She's trying to paint him as not acceptable, not ready. He doesn't have the temperament for the office. And can people sort of, even if they don't like her, swallow hard and vote for her because they don't like him? So this is not going to be an optimistic election in the next 3 months, Kate, but it certainly is now fully joined.
Fully joined and off to the beginning of the final phase. Jeff, great to see you. Thank you. Jeff probably had less sleep than any of us following all of this so far. There were plenty of firsts, as Jeff was just talking about, at the Democratic convention. We're going to run down the highs and the lows, the most memorable moments, and what they mean for the race going forward. My panel is here with their picks ahead.